Welcome to this second of two videos from the Doing Your Dissertation series on the topic of critical research and reading. In part one, we saw that being critical essentially means adopting a questioning approach to your reading and research. In this video, we focus on practical strategies you can use to help you with being more critical when researching and reading for your dissertation. So how can you adopt a critical approach to your reading? Here I outlined 3 strategies that you may find helpful. These suggestions are not exhaustive, but they are a great starting point. The first strategy is to think read. This strategy was developed by the educational publisher Pearson in the context of an assessment called the Watson-Glaser Critical Thinking Appraisal, which is often used by employers and other institutions to screen applicants for critical thinking skills. READ stands for Recognize Assumptions, Evaluate Arguments, and Draw Conclusions. Recognizing assumptions involves the ability to identify things that are being taken for granted without evidence. Critical thinkers separate facts from assumptions and question whether assumptions are justified. Evaluating arguments involves the ability to assess whether an argument is strong, relevant, and supported by evidence. Drawing conclusions involves the ability to reach logical conclusions based on the available evidence. Critical thinkers avoid jumping to conclusions and ensure that any conclusion follows from the facts provided. So let's look at how this strategy might work in practice. Imagine a researcher claims that poverty is a major cause of crime. Starting with R for recognizing assumptions, before accepting this claim, we should identify the assumptions behind it. Possible assumptions include that people living in poverty are more likely to commit crime, poverty directly causes criminal behaviour, and other factors such as family, education, or peers are less important. And a further assumption may be that crime rates are higher in poorer communities because of poverty rather than other social conditions. A critical thinker may ask whether poverty itself causes crime, whether there are poor people who do not commit crime, or whether poverty could be associated with other factors that influence offending. In relation to this claim about the relationship between poverty and crime, we might read an argument that crime rates are higher in areas with high unemployment and deprivation, therefore poverty contributes to crime. So in terms of evaluating arguments, we might want to pick apart and check this argument for strong evidence and reasoning. If asserted with supporting evidence, then this might be considered a strong argument. For example, government statistics show that deprived communities experience disproportionately high crime levels. Employment deprivation is recognised by the Office for National Statistics as a factor associated with crime risk, and government deprivation indices explicitly link crime, income deprivation, and employment deprivation when analysing neighbourhood disadvantage. In addition, the claim is only that poverty contributes to crime, rather than a stronger claim that it is the main or major cause of crime. On the other hand, a critical thinker might consider other evidence, such as that most people experiencing poverty do not commit crime, that some crimes such as corporate fraud and tax evasion are committed by affluent individuals, and that other factors including peer influence, education, family circumstances, and opportunity may also explain criminal behaviour. Recognising that evidence such as this shows that poverty is certainly not the only factor at play. Finally, in terms of drawing conclusions, a critical thinker might conclude that UK evidence does demonstrate a strong relationship between deprivation, unemployment, and higher crime levels. However, the evidence does not prove that poverty alone causes crime. The most reasonable conclusion is likely that poverty appears to be an important contributing factor among a wider range of social, economic, and individual influences. The second strategy is to think about P's. PEA is another acronym standing for Point, Evidence and Analysis. Point. What point is the author making? Is it clear and is it logical? Evidence. What is the evidence used to support their point? And then finally, analysis. What are their concluding thoughts on what they have presented, and does it follow from their earlier point? By using this PEA approach to analyse sections of your reading, you can start breaking down the argument and show evidence of criticality and of evaluating the arguments presented. A third strategy for adopting a critical approach to reading and research is to use the 3-2-1 model of critical thinking. There are 3 key questions to ask about the information, 2 questions to ask as you analyse the information, and 1 question to ask in relation to judging or assessing the text or point in question. So 3. Is the information accurate, relevant to your argument, and logical? 2. What do you understand the information to mean, and what viewpoints, perspectives, and assumptions are evident? And 1. Do you agree with the conclusion drawn by the author or the point made? So thinking 3-2-1 can also help you to keep these questions in mind as you read. When trying to adopt a critical approach, what you'll notice about all 3 strategies presented in this video, think red, P's, and the 3-2-1 approach, is that they all involve asking questions. This is the very foundation of being critical. So the simple message here is that you need to ask questions of what you read and not accept it on face value. So that's all for now. See you in the next video.